So welcome everyone. My name is Nancy Opdahl. Today we will be covering most of our ASP semi-permanent colors. I know that there's some that maybe you might be familiar with. Now we just talked to a few girls here that this is their first class. So there will be information about the products slightly. So if you have other questions about the products, you can write them in the chat and Kristen Early will help out. I know Amanda's also here and Candy, and they can also extend their help if you need it. So we will start with sharing the screen. And getting right into the presentation. All right. So for our ASP semi-permanent colors, and the information that I have ready for you all to, I was going to say ladies because that was in my mind right now, but I don't know if men will join. So for everyone today is that there's a lot of information or a lot of different ways that we can help to get more longevity from semi-permanent colors. And I want to talk about all of that. So this class will be very informative on ways to help to get longevity, ways to help to get more structure in the hair, to be able to get more shine and treatment that will help to retain those colors longer in the hair. So those things are important when we're talking about semi-permanent colors. So with all the information, you will also see color cocktails. You will see some models, maybe some models that you've already seen. And we're sharing some work from some of our educators around the world. Actually, more from all of the America. And these are the two that are the most familiar people are with, the hot shots and color dynamics. But we forget that we have the Be Red refreshers, and we also have semi-permanent mask treatments that are the anti-orange and the anti-yellow from System Blonde. We will be covering all of that in our slides coming up. But most importantly, it's important to understand the color types there are. I'm going to move my screen just a little bit. And there are four basic categories of color products. There is temporary, semi-permanent, tone-on-tone, which is demi-permanent, and permanent color. We don't carry temporary color at ASP, but in order to choose the correct color type, we need to understand what their properties and limitations are, especially when working with semi-permanent colors. A lot of the times we have clients that get it done for the very first time, and the first thing is that they're color faded. These type of colors get better and brighter the more applications you obtain, and also always working on a very clean canvas with a very more of a treated canvas. A lot of the times if the hair is too porous or too damaged, we don't get very good coverage. So here are some examples of hair applied on a color applied on hair. So let's look at the action of a temporary color. We can see here, I'm going to go to my laser pointer because it's not, okay, here we go. Here we can see that it works right outside the cuticle. So temporary colors could be your color sprays to cover gray, some color gels, some color mousses. And again, we don't carry these at ASP, but it's important to understand where they lay on the hair. So these last one shampoo, because once you apply it, you wash it out and it's gone. Now let's look at semi-permanent color, the most important for us as a topic today. Semi-permanent color works on the outer layers of the cortex right here and right behind the cuticle. So they get in between the cuticle. Therefore, these last 6 to 10 shampoos.
Nancy,
Yep.
Did you need to have a different slide up?
What do we have right now?
It's still the understanding color with the color types.
Oh, wow. I have a different one. Yeah, that's weird.
You jinxed us.
Oh my God, this is totally weird. How is that happening? All right, do you guys see something different on your screen? Nope. No? All right, let's go all over again. Oh.
Maybe try stop.
I'm going to yeah, let's do that. Sorry, everyone.
Oh, that's okay.
How is that? New screen?
Now we can just see the beginning of the presentation.
Okay. Can we see a movie?
Yep.
Okay, very cool. All right. I apologize for that. I did
No
see
worries.
that my screen was paused. That's a new one. Okay. Let's get back into it. All right.
There we go.
Okay. So we were talking about the importance of understanding where color sits on the hair. So especially for semi-permanent color. So let me get again my laser pointer. This is what's going to be our focus today, but let's look at the temporary color and where it sits. We can see that it sits right outside the cuticle. Therefore, these last one shampoo. Again, these are the color gels, the color mousses, and all those temporary colors that are just for one-time use. Then when we look at the action of semi-permanent color, we know that it sits right outside of the cortex, right behind the cuticle. So it gives you more coverage than a temporary would, but it still lasts only 6 to 10 shampoos. So we need to understand that semi-permanent colors don't get more deeper penetration as a color like a demi-permanent or tone-on-tone would. So just for reference, let's look at what tone-on-tone does to the hair. It also does not lift the hair, but it gives us about a 70% coverage because this one does get inside of the cortex. And then when we look at permanent color, we know that it gets in the cortex deeper, covering to 100%. So this is why it's important to understand semi-permanent color and the ways that we can allow it to give us more longevity depending on what we do to the hair, which are going to be slides that we'll cover upcoming. Any questions on this? No?
Nothing in the chat.
All right. Okay. It's important to be familiar with the color star when we are using semi-permanent colors. A lot of the times, if we have a client that is changing their color to a vibrant color for the very first time, and we lighten their hair that day, it depends on the results that we get underneath the hair or what canvas we're working on, that the colors that they choose will be able to show on the hair. So for example, if we have a client that is coming in with maybe like a dark brown and she wants to be a blue color, but we were only able to lift to about a 7 and the hair is coppery. Let's say that we apply that blue straight onto that copper color or level 7 coppery. The color is not going to look blue. The color will look more muddy. Semi-permanent colors really don't have that much power to neutralize. So it wouldn't even be that neutralized. It would actually just look like a clash of colors and more of a muddy tone. It's important to know that if we want to achieve a blue, we have to get to a cleaner, lighter blonde. And also depending on the blues, that you might need to add some more of the colors in the color wheel to give you that true result you're looking for. So true semis really do work along with each other when you're trying to enhance them or when you're trying to make them richer, just by adding other semi-permanent colors on. Another example of the color star being very helpful is if you have a client that was only able to lift, let's say from a very black color, and it's not a surprise that people are coloring their hair at home with box color. That box color doesn't really lift out. If they're left with like a level 6 and it's pretty red, and their goal is to be very bright red, then it's actually perfect. Because what you do is you just pick any of the bright shades of red from any of our semi-permanent colors, and you can add it to that canvas, and your hair will only just be brighter and more brilliant and vibrant in result. So this is where the color star will help you in the near future when you're using semi-permanent colors. All right, one of our most popular colors of semi-permanent in our line is Hot Shots. And these are illuminating semi-permanent colors. They really deliver exceptional shine and vibrancy. We have 8 shades, and 3 of them are very vibrant, and the other 5 are more of your neutral colors. So semi-permanent colors don't always just have to be your vivids or your very bright colors. They can also be a color that it's more neutral, and they can sit on the hair just like any semi-permanent color to give it more vibrancy, illumination, and shine. Sorry, guys. Alrighty, so our semi-permanent color Hot Shots contains the Datum Plus technology that delivers beautiful results and they get more even in the hair. It has color lock technology, shea butter and argan, which provide those conditioning factors. And the development time is from 3 to 20 minutes. And again, these last 6 to 10 shampoos. They're easy to use. They do not leave a regrowth. So let's look at Kristen's hair. Kristen has a blonde and she has a highlight. It will not create a line of demarcation, so no regrowth lines. It will just gently wash away. And when we're looking at the different shades, we can also see what we recommend as where to be applied. So this chart here will help you when you're grabbing one of these colors, what canvas you can apply it on. But just remember that the lighter your canvas is, the more vibrancy you obtain. So if that is your goal, that is definitely okay to use, just knowing that you'll get more vibrancy out of the colors. So for Quicksilver, this color is very silvery, but it's also very light. So we recommend it to be used on tones on bases that are 8 to 10. Sand Blonde is a soft beige blonde and recommended from 7 to 9. True Copper and Burnt Copper are the vibrant shades that can be used on pre-lightened hair or from 6 to 8 because they do provide a very, very vibrant copper tone. But the burnt copper is a beautiful burnished copper tone. So if you want it to be more of a natural, then I recommend a burnt copper. Ice Chestnut is a frosted brown, levels 5 to 7. Hot Chocolate is very deep and very rich, so levels 5 through 7. Red Chili is another one of the vibrants. It's recommended from the levels 5 to 7. And Aubergine is that deep purple tone, and it's recommended for levels 3 to 5. So any of these colors too, if you wish to ever make them a little bit more pastelized for any of the blondes, we have a pastelizer that we'll be talk about that you can always mix in to give it a little bit less potency to the color. All right. So this is how we apply Hot Shots to the hair. So Hot Shots doesn't always have to be straight after a bleaching. This can also be a refresher. And I would say that more than any time for me, it's refreshing color when I use any of the Hot Shots. And it just enhances the tones that a client has underneath, or it can change the color depending on what the canvas I am applying it on. So to start, if a client is coming in just for a color refresher, we shampoo the hair, preferably with Purify shampoo from Kitoko. Then you towel dry the hair. If you're at the shampoo bowl, you can use your color straight out of the pouch, or you can put it in a bowl and a brush and apply it at the chair. You let it process from 3 to 20 minutes. The longer you allow it to process, the longer longevity you'll get. All right. And then you just rinse it out. You don't need to add any shampoo or conditioner. Your color is ready. You can mix and you can get different results by intermixing them together, or like I said, you can use them with a pastelizer. So these are the key selling points. If there's any sales reps in the call, we can use these to recommend them. Should not just for stylists, but for clients to use at home as well. So these do not require a developer to be mixed. The service times are quick, so you can leave it from 3 to 20 minutes. It's a very simple way to use, which is apply, leave it in, comb through, and rinse. It's a great color refresher. It's a great conditioner with shine and gloss. You can introduce it to clients that are shy. So if it's their first time trying any new color, these are great to start. And you can retail this as a color for your clients to refresh at home. Do we have any questions, Kristen?
Nope, there's nothing in the chat.
Very cool. So here is an example of how I used Hot Shots for a refresher. I used 2 parts of Ice Chestnut and 1 part of Burnt Copper, and I only left it at the bowl for 5 minutes. So she was there for just a haircut at the salon, and we thought, well, why don't we just enhance your color just a bit? And simply 5 minutes gave it this much vibrancy and shine to the hair. And we can see her before here. It was just dull, and she's actually just letting it wash out. So if she just wanted to get a vibrant color, she could have gone to more of our vibrant colors too. Here's another example. This one here is an example of how vibrant the colors can be. So where we see the canvas here, this is a great picture. We can see that in the deeper areas of her hair, the color grabbed a little bit deeper. And where her hair was lighter, it just gave us that vibrancy and intensity. So to achieve a color like this, we first shampoo the hair with primer shampoo, with Purify shampoo. And for a vibrancy like that, I like to blow dry the hair first. You can just towel dry, but for this particular result, I blow dried just lightly, rough dry. And I did a color meld technique with red chili closer to the root area. And on my mix 2, I did a burnt copper with a true copper and protein additive, just to make sure that the color adheres better to the hair and that we get more coverage. So we will see some of the tools to use in semi-permanent colors that will help to get more longevity into the hair and the capacity to be able to penetrate deeper into the hair. Process for 20 minutes. Here is one of the colors that Kristen Burley actually did, and she will be able to present it to you since she's here today.
Yep, so this is Tatum. Tatum is actually 17, and like most kids right now, everybody wants that really silvery color, and mom was not on board. So we did a full highlight with light and 20 volume, and then instead of toning her with something more permanent, I used Quicksilver so that she felt like she had that silvery tone, but it wasn't anything that was going to last super long. That way mom and daughter were both happy.
Very cool. And this one is Kristen's too.
Yep, so then this is Kathy. As you can see in our before photo, she is starting to grow out into her natural color, but she was just feeling kind of dull and icky. So I mixed sand blonde and hot chocolate together and just applied that at the shampoo bowl for 20 minutes just to give her a little something to add some shine and a little bit of color to ease her grow out. And then this is also something that I was able to retail home to her so she can keep up with it at home as she's growing out her gray.
Great. All right. I will be showing some other ways to use the hot shots too. But for this one here, I did a photo shoot where this model only needed some more shine and a little bit of a change of color. So you can see the shine from the reflection of the camera. And her color is 2 parts of red chili with 1 part of aubergine. And let me show you her before. So she had some very, very light brown balayage on her dark hair. This is what we were able to achieve that day at the salon. You can still see the shine and vibrancy, but on a reflection of a camera, you can see how much more red and vibrant and shiny the hair looks. So if you're doing any special occasions, it doesn't have to be a photo shoot, but it can just be maybe a bride. You can always enhance their color just to make it look super shiny, and the photography will be amazing in results after they get a hot shots treatment. Here is another high reflection shine. This girl too, we had done her color maybe about 2 months prior to this. I retailed her another color refresher, but she was kind of scared of doing it. She never used it. So she came to my home. She's a makeup artist that I work with. So she came here and we were able to mix the color that I had suggested. And I had some blonde here, some sand blonde. So we mixed 2 parts of ice chestnut, which was what she took home, and 1 part of sand blonde. She left it in her hair. So she drove from here to home and she said she shampooed it out. She rinsed it out after 30 minutes and she had her photo shoot. So you can see just how much shine and vibrancy you get, but also the tones. She was pretty washed out already. We didn't get any pictures of her before, but she had a lot of very yellow tones. And just that sand blonde and the chestnut, ice chestnut, just gives it this beautiful vibrancy. So these are just some I wanted to share with you. All right, we've talked about what we can do to get more longevity out of any semi-permanent color, and this is from our toolbox. We already saw that we were introduced to protein additive in some of our models prior to this, but let's talk about why it's helpful. Protein additive is a pure mineral. and it can be added to any of your colors. So we normally, you'll see us talk about it, added to our lighteners, added to our permanent color, but in semi-permanent color, it actually really does add, intensifies and improves the coverage and longevity of the hair. So in this case, protein additive, we're utilizing it just to help us get us more of an anchor with the color to adhere better to the hair. So we talked about also the color only being able to be outside of the cortex. So when we have a very porous cuticle, it does get to that surface of the cortex, but it just comes right out once we wash it. So it's important to have something that is going to help us stay longer in the hair, and therefore protein additive is treating the hair at the same time that it's intensifying the color when you're applying a semi-permanent color. So if you have any questions about this, you can ask now, or we will continue to talk more about protein additive as you can see the uses that you can get from it. Questions, Kristen? No?
Nope, there's nothing in the chat.
Okay. All right, very cool. You will also see in the tools, the supported tools that are coming up, that we have the pH level right at the bottom. It's important to know that it's bringing down the level of the pH, especially if you're lightening the same day. A lot of the times when we're lightening the color, the hair, it's just going to high levels of alkalinity. So all of these products that are going to be going on in the next slides will help you to bring the pH level down. All righty. So here we have our active pH rebalancer. This is another great tool to help you to get more longevity on the hair and to get more beautiful results in the hair. So it equalizes the porosity and it restores the natural acidity. So again, talking about when we reach the hair to high levels of alkalinity during the lightening process, it's important to bring it down before we apply any semi-permanent color. So we bring it down to a 4.5 to a 5.5, which is the most natural state of pH in natural hair. So it's important to bring it back to that level. Again, if we leave that pH level high as the way it is right after bleaching, and we apply semi-permanent color, it will look very vibrant that day because it absorbed it. But we didn't bring it back to a natural pH level, so that color will come out. So this is very important to use. It is magnificent because it's in a spray form and it's a leave-in formulation, so you don't need to rinse it out. So simply after the bleaching procedure, you towel dry the hair, you spray active pH rebalancer on the hair, you comb it through, and then you can apply your color. So simply, it brings the natural moisture factor to the hair. It adds all of these beautiful nutrients to the hair, which, you know, it's only going to be more beneficial for color like semi-permanent colors. Active restructuring. Yes.
We have a question.
Yes.
So would you spray this on and still use the protein additive in your color?
Absolutely. The more supported tools that you can use, if you have them, the more I recommend using them, because all of these will only add more longevity. So if you were already getting longevity with your protein additive, and today is the first time you discover that active pH rebalancer can also help you, you're only going to get more longevity. And I really talk about these products from experience, everyone, just so you know that I don't just think of these products as what they can do. They actually really do what I'm saying they do because of testing them. A lot of my clients that are semi-permanent colors, they are continuing clients. So they come for semi-permanent colors over and over. And they do know that the recommendation shampooing that I say is going to last is 6 to 10, but they get more out of it. So this is just my recommendation. They really can get more out of it. And also the care that they continue to do at home. But most importantly, the things that I can help them do in the salon, I always add them. So definitely, you can do one of these or all of these. Yeah. Thanks, Kristen. Yeah. Okie dokie. Active restructurant, it's another leave-in spray formulation. Now, this spray here repairs and restructures fragile hair. So sometimes the clients already come in with some chemically damaged hair. They have split ends, they have frail ends. It's very weak a lot of the times. And this is not just to pick on fine hair people, but when you lighten fine hair, and actually not even lightening fine hair, just fine hair in general tends to get more split ends than other hair. So when the hair has split ends and it's very fragile, it needs to be restructured. So active restructuring actually can be sprayed in at the moment that the client sits in your chair. You can spray it in, you comb the hair, and then you can proceed with whatever you're doing. If you are bleaching that day, it's perfect to use as a primer before bleaching. If they're just coming for a refresher, remember you didn't have to lighten their hair, so now then this is when you choose active restructuring, just to create a more even canvas to apply your color on. Also, if you're prepping them that day with primer shampoo, I keep saying primer shampoo because I use Kotoko primer shampoo a lot, but I'll talk about that in a minute. So when you use purified shampoo, you cleanse the hair and you apply active restructurant just to make sure that you get more protection to the hair and to prevent more split ends. So split ends can be caused by just brushing, by hot tools, or whatever a client is using. So just to prevent it, using active restructurant will be great.
Yep.
Yeah. Questions on that?
Nope, but we did get a comment that says they love this spray for their extensions.
Ooh.
So that was from one of our other educators, Kristen Wilden. And I just want to remind everybody that us educators actually use these products behind the chair every day. So when we're telling you that, this is something that we love for this, it's because it's a tried and true tip for you guys. So we hope you guys like the tips.
Yes, exactly. Thanks, Kristen. Which brings me to the new, the new slide. I mean, the new comment that I put here. I put great for cutting. So, yeah, as part of like our daily use, I use it before cutting, especially because I do a lot of razor cuts. It really protects the hair, and I talked about preventing split ends. This is just a great way to tell your clients too that if they're afraid of the razor, we're protecting their hair prior to cutting, so they will not get any added split ends to what they already have. So they're always afraid, and that's a whole other class. So let's just, yeah, the razor, which I love to talk about. But yes, so you can utilize any of these tools together or on different ways at the salon. Vitaplex. So if for those of you that are new and have not seen us talk about Vitaplex, we talk about Vitaplex all the time. I think most of us use it as educators, but we recommend using it. And we always talk about it when we're using it with lightener. We also talk about it when using it with color, permanent color, and also as a standalone treatment. But if it can be used as a standalone treatment, then why can't we just add it to semi-permanent color? Semi-permanent color is also a conditioner. It's a treatment. So with some of the Vitaplex properties, or all of the properties that Vitaplex provides, you can get hair that looks significantly healthier, especially after lightening. So if you already used Vitaplex in your lightener the same day, you don't need to add it in your color. Maybe you can just use protein additive, active pH rebalancer, or any of the other tools. But if you're using it just as a refresher, semi-permanent color that day, you can apply part 1 of Vitaplex to your semi-permanent color, and it will intensify your color and it will give you more longevity. Again, because it is repairing the hair from the inside. So it has the capacity to get all the way into the deeper into the hair to be able to give you that coverage that you're looking for in a semi-permanent color. So it will strengthen the hair and it will prevent breakage, and it improves the elasticity of the hair. So a lot of the times these are some of the areas where semi-permanent color doesn't hold, is if the elasticity is kind of on the point of breakage. So it's beautiful to apply on the hair. And then after you rinse out your semi-permanent color with Vitaplex, depending on the time you left it on for, you still go ahead and apply your part 2 of Vitaplex and make sure that you just rinse out, and it will not change your color routine. So this is a huge recommendation. Also beneficial to you is that you can charge more for that semi-permanent color, because this is a whole other treatment that they can get at the same time of the color, but it is giving them benefits to the hair, and it's preventing the hair from breakage, allowing the color to last a lot longer. All right, here's an example of using all of the toolbox products that are recommended. This is a client that came in with this first picture here. She had red box color, which was lift and deposit. I know they exist. It freaks me out that they actually are there for clients to just pick up and use at home. And this was, you can see the ends here, you can see the top here where it covered. So she wants green, right? And I should not put this picture here because it would have been like, what? She wants green? That's impossible. And that's what I said when she came in. We had a consultation prior to this. This girl is actually very young. And we talked about, well, if I lift your hair today, I don't think I can promise that your hair will be green. Well, we went ahead and did everything we needed to in order just to lift this color out of the hair. So we did a bleach application. And first I used active restructuring to comb it through to make sure that I protect her hair prior. Then I did my bleach application with Vitaplex Part 1 in the formulation. And I used this from the line of demarcation to the ends. And then after I applied her second formulation at the root area, and I applied protein additive to it. That was just to make sure that I will have a little bit more protection because I went from there all the way to the end. So I wanted to protect the ends as well. So it was from root to ends on the second application. And these were the results I got. After I blew dry the hair, as you can see here on the right, I thought I'm just going to go for it. Well, let's just do the green and see how it looks. Because I know and I trust the vibrancy of our color, we were able to achieve the green. But I just want to say that if I hadn't added any of these tools to my color from the very, very start, from the lightener to the color, I would have not gotten these results with beautiful hair. This hair would have been falling off, this hair would have been crunchy or probably very elasticy or probably no hair. So it is important to know that these tools really do help if you want to achieve semi-permanent colors.
Nancy, which lightener did you use for this?
I use System Blonde. System Blonde level 9, and I use 20 volume. Perfect. The entire time, yeah. So after I shampooed, I sprayed Ph Rebalancer again to bring back her pH, and then I applied the color. After the color, I left it in for 30 minutes and I applied part 2 of Vitaplex. And here we have some more pictures of her. Okay, so here are her results. You can see from root to ends how healthy that hair is. So sometimes to me, I achieved the color, that's a big plus. But if I can achieve the color with beautiful results and healthy hair, then I think we're winning, right? Yeah, we have a question?
Nope.
Oh, okay. All righty.
I was just agreeing with how beautiful it is.
Oh, okay. Yes. Thank you very much. Okay. All righty. So I have this thing that's covering the very, very top of my screen. So for the roots, I use Green Envy in dark gray. And let me explain why I did that. It's because her hair, as you remember, it was still very yellowy. I knew that the deposit of the Green Envy was going to be a lot more sheer on that fresh color. So the dark gray was good. It's going to help me to give it more of a hazed or muted look at the root area. And it was super important that I also applied Color Your Way, which we will see in the next slide. Color Your Way thickened my color. And we know that when the hair is just super healthy, a lot of the semi-permanent colors just look like they slide out of the hair. So Color Your Way made sure that it adhered to the hair and that it stay there, especially because the scalp gets a little bit warm. A lot of the colors can drip out of the hair. So Color Your Way made sure that it stayed there the entire time of the process. And then at the ends, I used Green Envy with protein additive. And here are the results. Okie dokie. Color Your Way. Color Your Way will make any formulation that you are using on, whether it's a lightener, a permanent color, or your semi-permanent color, a more desired consistency. It also helps for your color not to bleed, so it significantly eradicates color from bleeding, especially when using multiple tones. And you can create any consistency desired depending on how much you apply. So anytime, I know that Kristen uses it on all of her lighteners. Yep. And yeah, and she uses a powder most of the time. For semi-permanent colors, we recommend the powder form because this actually really helps to give that consistency a little bit thicker. The liquid form actually does not really mix with these. It actually makes it more watery. So for a color semi-permanent, we recommend the Color Your Way powder. And here are your mixing instructions, which are just suggested. You can sprinkle 1 or 2 scoops of Color Your Way to every 20 grams of your lightener, or any color, semi-permanent color you're using. You can increase the quantity to thicken your color. And the measurements are just here to guide you, but you can use any personalization to get your consistency desired. Okay, here I did.
A long way.
A little goes a long way. Thanks for reminding me. Yes, it does. So 2 scoops will be paste, but it's recommended if you are using a very liquidy formulation, right?
Mm-hmm.
So here in this color block technique, I used Color Your Way on only one of the colors, which I added it to the pure purple. And I added 1 little scoop. I did about 10 grams of color here. So that was just 1 scoop. And I only did on 1 color because I knew that just adding it to one side would help to bleed from the other side. So this just helped me to get the coverage that I needed, and for them at the time of rinsing to not bleed onto each other. Okay. Any questions on Color Your Way?
Nope.
Right.
Well, kind of.
Okay.
When would you recommend the liquid over the powder?
I know that the liquid, and I know, Krista, you use the liquid on lightener.
Mm-hmm.
On lightener, on any other color, just except semi-permanent colors. Because of the acidity that it has, it just does not mix well, is the only reason why we don't. But a liquid form can be applied to any of your other colors. To your metallics, to your toners, to your lighteners, to anything you use in permanent color. Do you have any ways to explain it, Kristen? I'm going to close my buttons.
Yeah, so I actually really like the liquid when I'm doing foils or when I'm doing a root smudge, because it helps give me a little bit more of like an elastic consistency. So that's typically when I use it for that. In my opinion, the powder almost kind of gives you more of a clay-like consistency. So depending on what you're doing, the powder can be really great for like balayage, or like we were saying, the semis, where you really want that color to stay where you put it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, so I put the System Blonde Deep Treatments into tools because they can be tools, but they can also be a semi-permanent toner. So for System Blonde Anti-Yellow Deep Treatment Mask, what used to be the Cool Blonde Illuminator, we can use it as a toner at the shampoo bowl, and you can also recommend it to your clients to continue to tone their hair at home. The Anti-Orange Deep Treatment Mask is recommended for tones that are a little bit darker, and you can use these for 5 to 10 minutes, and it will actually really change the tone of your client's hair. So for a client like this, that I was doing just a fresh tone on her roots, I was going to use it as a tool, which is a pre-tone, and I used the Anti-Yellow Treatment Mask on towel dried hair. We were going to tone her hair, but she actually really loved it. So all I did was retail her the deep treatment mask for use at home, and she can continue to get this tone every time her hair fades out. So this is why we use System Blonde's deep treatment masks as a semi-permanent color. Okay, now we're going to step into color dynamics. These are our vibrancy and true colors that are going to be, they can be subtle when using them with pastelizer, or they can just be your very creative colors in your salon. You can customize any of these vibrant tones. They come in 13 different shades. They also last from 6 to 10 shampoos, excuse me. You develop from 15 minutes to 30 minutes max. They also contain Datum Plus technology to get more longevity in the hair. They're ammonium peroxide free, and they have argan oil and shea butter. When mixing any of these tones with pastelizer, you can create any of these colors in a more subtle way. So if you're looking for something that is not so vibrant, but it's an introduction to color, then you can mix it with a pastelizer, and you can create pastel effects. Do we have questions, Kristen?
Nope, we don't have any questions just yet.
All righty.
Are you going to talk about how you can mix the two together?
Which two
The
together?
Hot Shots and Color Dynamics.
Oh yeah, oh yeah,
Okay,
we
good,
have a
'cause
whole.
that's my favorite part.
Yes.
Perfect.
Yes, yes. So Kristen's talking about being able to mix your hot shots and your pastel, and your color dynamics. So I did mention during the hot shots presentation that you can add pastelizer to any of your hot shots. You can also do that. You can also intermix your color dynamics with your hot shots to create more intensity results in the hair. Thanks, Kristen. We will talk about it more.
Perfect.
I just want to say that the pastelizer is also a great treatment. So if your client really doesn't need that much intensity in the hair, you can just use your pastelizer as a shine treatment because it has the same factors of conditioning that Color Dynamics does. So it will give you a shine treatment that can just be left in the hair for about 10 minutes, and you will be able to see that intensity and shine and illumination in the hair.
Yep. I also feel like it kind of seals the color in a little bit. So I'll even use it over, like if I'm using infinity color on somebody, I'll do this as a shine treatment at the bowl to help seal it in.
Oh, yeah, perfect. As a sealer, that's great. Okay, so the new dark gray was developed as a result of salon requests. And this can also be used with pastelizer if you don't want it to be that dark of a gray. So it can give you about a 50% of your gray, more of a pastelized gray if you mix it, but it also has really great intensity. And I just want to talk about gray being one of the colors of 2021 and how many people have just used this dark gray straight onto the hair, but you can also mix it to any of the other tones to get more of a hazed, people are calling it smoky, but more of a haze look. It's more muted, and you can do that when you use it on any of these colors. So the selling points of Color Dynamics are that they're ultra vibrant and they can be pastelized, semi-permanent fashion color. You can apply, leave it in, and rinse it out. Quick development. Excuse me. Oh, okay. And it's a fabulous conditioner with argan and shea butter. They also do not contain ammonia or peroxide, and they can be mixed with each other to create other vibrant shades, or with your pastelizer and then mixed in with hot shots if you want different results. These 3 shades here came in about 2 years ago or a year and a half ago, and these were the shades that were just going to be for a limited time. We still have them available, and they actually became really, really popular this year again for 2021, and they are lavender, blush, and coral.
We do have a few questions.
Yes.
So would retailing these be a good idea?
You can retail them. That brings me to a great point. I actually retail, I'm going to show you guys this little bottle. I get little containers like this, and I have them in different colors. So this is just the first one I grabbed. And I mix some of the color that they have in their hair or whatever they used, we used on that day. And I mix it with the Color Care treatment mask, just so they don't get all the intensity. And I don't want to say like, it could get a little bit messy when we're using these colors, and if they don't have gloves at home, it can really stain them. So yeah. I recommend that if you're going to retail this, I like to mix a little bit of a different batch for the client and mix it with a treatment mask. That way they don't go further or get more advantage of using the color treatment as at home as opposed to giving the whole tube. But I don't think that there's any reason or to not sell it to them. I think that you can. Correct?
Yep, I totally agree. And like you're saying with mixing it with the conditioner, I like to do that because then it doesn't keep them from coming back to the salon to get another service. It's just a way for them to keep it fresh at home. And then like you were saying, there's less staining, and it's kind of almost like if you guys color on a piece of paper with a crayon and you keep going over the same spot, it gets darker and darker and darker. And even though we tell our clients, okay, use this once a week or do it this way, people tend to do it more often, and a lot of times I've had problems with it getting too dark or something like that because that color is building up on top of each other. So it's really important to kind of dilute it a little bit for them. And then, like I said, it also keeps them coming back into the salon.
Absolutely. Great point on the overdoing it. And we know that those clients that like these colors like to change it too. And if they overdo the same tone, it will be more difficult for us to pull that later. So yeah, great point on the overbuilding, which, you know, if they don't ever want to change it, it's not a big problem, but we also want them to keep coming back to the salon, which is another great point.
Yep.
Thanks, Kristen.
Yeah. So can you use it on someone who has gray hair and they just want to enhance their natural color?
Yes, I am one of those clients. I use the Magic Magenta on my gray hair. I don't know if you can see it now, or I mean, I don't know,
Not
but
really.
yeah, not really. Yeah. So I'm really gray, and sometimes I don't want to do my roots. My roots, I do B-reds, so I wait a little bit because with B-reds, I can have a little bit more of a longer root and I can still get great results. But with using any of the semi-permanents, not just Color Dynamics, you can use it on naturally gray hair to enhance color, give it a little bit of a shine. We've been doing this on my mom after she got addicted to having just a little bit of amethyst in her natural gray tone. We did a little bit of a pure purple mixed in with conditioner, and she got a really beautiful, like, purple haze on top of her color gray. So yes, it is really, really pretty to any of these colors. Yeah, in fact, any of the hot shots can be used on gray hair too, if they just want more shine and vibrancy.
Yep, we actually had a model that we showed you where she's growing out her gray, and we're using the hot shots on her to kind of just spice it up a little bit as it's growing out. So
very nice.
And then we do have one more question, or well, there's two more actually. Are these safe for pregnant women?
Yes, they are definitely safe for pregnant women. They have absolutely no peroxide, no ammonia. Everything that they contain are argan oils and safe pigments that are okay for people with actually anything that has an allergy or anything like that should be tested. But for pregnant women, I know that it's okay.
Yep, absolutely. And if you're in doubt, we definitely recommend telling your guests to talk to their doctor first. But I've used it on pregnant women and I've not had a problem.
Right. Yep. And the odor is actually very pleasant. It's very, it's very nice.
Smells really good. How much pastelizer do you add to your color?
Yeah, you can add up to a 50% in any of these shades if you want to. So all of these shades right here are mixed with pastelizer at a 50%. So this gives you an idea that if you want to make it less pasteurized, you can use less. So in between the 1% to a 50%, you can get more intensity.
Right on your feet, chick. Holy crap.
Oh, no worries. So yes, you can get more pastelized if you use, especially if you have super bright blonde, super light blonde, and you don't know how much to use. I recommend starting with a 50%. We use a piece of paper, and you'll see, I think it's some of the pictures coming up. I tested on a paper towel that it's not just too white, to be able to see what it's going to look like. And if you feel like you need more intensity, then you add more Color Dynamics. If you feel like you need to make it more pastelized, then you add more pastelizer. But looking at the color in your bowl before you apply it, testing it out, or even putting it on the top of your hand, you can see how much is going to stain. And if it's too much for the client, then you can add more pastelizer. So there really is more going to be a preference for you and your guest.
Yep, I always say it's kind of a visual for you. So what you see in the bowl is what you're going to get on the hair. And we definitely recommend starting with the pastelizer in your bowl first, and then adding your Color Dynamics to the pastelizer. That way you can see exactly what you're getting.
Yep.
And then we do have a question about how to get the Color Dynamics out of the hair. I don't know if you want to talk about that now or if you want to do that.
Yeah, we can talk about it now. Okay. Yep. So I have a few different ways. I know that Kristen, you have another way to explain it. I like to use Purify shampoo at the shampoo bowl, leave it in the hair, and we can set them with the Purify shampoo under the dryer for about 10 minutes and then rinse it out with hot water. That will be, for me, in my mind, the most healthiest way. Purify shampoo is still a low pH of 4.5 to 5.5. So it really is not clarifying the hair. But with the addition of the heat, it can just get those colors suds out of the hair when you rinse it out with hot water, just to proceed to pulling more color out. I have done treatments where if it's a person like me, where the color just has been added for years, that we apply the Purify shampoo. I take them back to the chair. I cover my flat iron with foil, and I do like a flat iron service to pull some of that color out of the hair. Now that would be the intense way to do it, and totally up to you if you want to go ahead and do that, but you need to protect your iron with foil to make sure that it doesn't get into the electrical part of it. But that's a dangerous way to do it. I mean, I wouldn't say it's dangerous. You just need to know how to use it, and that actually really allows it to pull it out of the hair. Kotoko Botanical, the primer shampoo, it's a 7.0 in the alkalinity scale, so that will actually be more as a clarifier, purifying, and a primer shampoo that you can use also to pull out any of that hair. But just make sure that if you're pulling it out, you are spraying the pH active rebalancer to make sure that the hair goes back to feeling like hair, and that it just leaves the hair back to its pH balance. So Kristen, do you have any recommendations?
So if I'm trying to remove this, that's basically what I do as well. But I'll do the purifying cleanser on dry hair, cap it and put it under the dryer for 10, 20 minutes, rinse it. And then if I feel like it needs it again, I'll do it again back under the dryer as well until it's where I need it to be. But some of those colors are just super, super stubborn, and depending on porosity and things like that, you may not be able to get it 100% out of the hair.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah, if you guys do follow my Instagram, we were able to pull some color out of one of my clients, and I think I wrote in how I did it. So it's actually easier when you know that you apply that color, right? If you think that they might have come in with some other color, then the recommendation is only what we can give you, but we don't know always what it is that the client used or what they used on her before. But if it's you who did their color before, this will be a much easier way to pull it out of the hair. All righty. Why is this? Okay. Oh, sorry. Here we have a gallery of colors from all of our educators. Some of these are from Amanda, this one here and this one here. This is Kristen Wilden. Then we have Kristen Verlies here and here. This is from Tasha. This is me. This is Heather and Heather. So, and this is me too. So just to show you that we all use them behind the chair. These are regular clients. These are people who want these colors. And even if they change their color, they still change it to something else. So you'll probably see some of these faces in different presentations because they already changed their hair. So I just want to talk about how our semi-permanent colors have the vibrancy and the capacity to be as vibrant as they want to be when you give it the right tools to be able to hold and give you more longevity. This is why today was important to talk about all of the ways that you can use color dynamics or hot shots, or we're still talking about more of our semi-permanent colors that can give you the longevity that you want. All right, so here is a client. You probably have seen her in the past. She does like color dynamics, but she went ahead and left this color for a while after we did some pinks. She was ready to go back, but we needed to cover her gray. So her process for this appointment was a little bit different. We applied color to her root, a different color to the mids, but we're only going to talk about the semi-permanents, which we used all of the colors that are spring tones, but we mixed them with dark gray. She wanted to have more of a hazed look, more of a smoky tone, and not actually really smoky. We really wanted to just mute the colors. She is a college professor, so she did it, and she's just teaching through Zoom. So she didn't want something that was just going to be super crazy, super loud. Here's a paper towel that I was talking about where we test. I like to test, but I know that Kristen Burley does this too. We test them on paper just to make sure that we know what we are going to be applying on the hair. The first one is hot pink with dark gray. The second one is magic magenta with dark gray. And the third one is pure purple with dark gray. This just intensifies the tone to a different, more muted look and not brighter. So this actually gave it more of a muted look, and you'll see end results. So I just want to show how I applied it. It was more of a color melt from her natural, from her permanent color to the ends in different ribbons. And here are her results. These spring tones were hazed with the dark gray. So hot pink with protein additive and dark gray, magic magenta with dark gray, 2 pumps of protein additive. As I got towards the ends, I added more pumps of the protein additive because her hair was really frail. I could have used Vitaplex too, but for her, we used more of protein because her hair felt more like it needed protein. So that's also something that you're going to able to determine, depending on how you feel your client's hair, when to use Vitaplex and when to use protein additive. And then the pure purple on some of these colors that you'll be able to see here are more towards, more hidden in there. And if I had put just the pure purple, we know that we would have been more intense all over. And these are just the colors that we did for Jillian. Here you have like indoor and outdoor shots. And so color dynamics and hot shots don't always have to be super dramatically intense. You can always mix them with hot shots, or you can mix them with any other colors to give you a different type of effect. Like for these, they were not super scandalous. Right, and Jillian has just gorgeous hair, so it just looked really pretty. All right, and here's her before and after. Indoor and outdoor shots.
We do have a question. So this person has a client with hard curls like your current photo, strong hair, and she has like a brown, red, violet. She'd like to go to pure purple and magic magenta mix, but doesn't want any bleach. Do you think it would show up?
Is her hair in like what the color looks in the middle here? If you want to unmute and ask the question, if her hair is about here, like in the mid shaft, you might. So I just want to know what the hair looks like. And you want, I have a different suggestion. If you don't want to bleach, you can use the Blue Reds already on that hair, and you can use the magenta and a little bit of the red violet, and later on you can apply the pure purple over it. So you're already getting a base of magenta, and with a pure purple over it, you can get the tones that you like. So that would be a suggestion. So you're not bleaching the hair, but you're lightening it.
Yep, she's saying that her client has like a dark violet to start with.
Dark violet, yeah, it probably won't show. No, it won't show, but I have another example coming up that might help you when we mixed hot shots and color dynamics on someone with more of a violet tone. So I'll show you that in a minute. But it needs to be pre-lightened. It really does. In order for them to show, they need to be a little bit more pre-lightened.
Yep.
Okay, here's another example of the spring shades, and these were pastelized. So in a pastelized tone. So if you guys remember, Mela was a model for December, like end of December. She was in the 1st of January, and we did, it was in January. And we did some colors, some of them were color dynamics. So for her freshening up this time, we used Magic Magenta pastelized. And here are the formulations. We used the Coral pastelized, and we used the blush on the ends. We started with spraying active restructurant after we shampooed the hair. Then we combed it through. I did a rough dry. Remember that if you rough dry and not apply on damp hair, you can get more intensity. So I rough dried her hair before applying her color. And I did Magic Magenta with 15 grams of pastelizer and 2 pumps of protein additive. Protein additive, you can see why and what it did. It really helped to heal the hair, especially towards the ends. Yeah, so this has absolutely no added treatment other than the treatments that were added to her semi-permanent color. Okie dokie. Oh my God, what did I? Okay, yes. On coral, we pastelized that too. Sorry, I get confused with too many letters. And this was on alternating pieces, which were here, and you'll see it in the shots from the outdoor, and 1 pump of protein additive. 30 grams of blush with 3 grams of Vitaplex on her ends only, and you can see why. This is where I was able to determine what needs the protein additive and what needed the Vitaplex. And then I rinsed her hair and I applied part 2 of Vitaplex. I covered her hair. Now, we don't say in our manufacturer's instructions that we cover the hair with semi-permanent colors, but I have been when it comes to clients that want a little bit more intensity. So adding to the list of ways to apply color and give more longevity, I get a little bit more longevity when I put cellophane paper over my client's hair. So it's not a plastic cap. It's just slightly over the hair, just to make sure that I'm covering it from any air in the atmosphere, whether it's AC, whether it's just like too hot, or even from the free radicals in the air. It really just helps me to get more longevity on my client's hair, and in results they say that it does. So it's also cool to see the consistency in your clients when they come back and get it, because it's not 6 to 10 washes. It's actually way after that they come in, because they do get the longevity that we give them when we're using the right tools. Here's an example of wanting to show you here. After I cover the hair, I let it cool off, but I manipulate color dynamics more into the hair. And here I'm going to show you my hands and how I have no color left on my hands. The reason to show you that is that the color now has been applied in the hair, and when your fingers are completely clear of color, then that means that the color is in the hair, and if it still is in your hands, that you could leave it just a little bit longer. I'm going to replay this because it's just really, really cool to see that there is no color left over in my hands. And these colors, I mean, I could even do this with an intense color, with a green or any color, and you get absolutely no color residue in your fingers. That means that the color has processed and is ready to be rinsed out. Another recommendation, which clients don't really appreciate, is cool water or cold water. It's I recommend it to them. A lot of them do it. A lot of them really do, especially Mela. Mela knows that she needs to rinse with cold water. I rinse with cold water. I go through that, but I like my hair to be vibrant all the time. So that's another recommendation. Here's where we can see some of the coral being pastelized. And we'll see it in some of the different shots. All right. Here you see the coral. Here you see the coral right here, more through the shine of the sun. There's the coral. All righty. So the coral on pre-lightened hair is actually a very beautiful color. Probably my next one coming up if I lighten my hair. All right. And here's some more shots of Mela with some of those corals and the blush really looking through in this picture. Here's you see the blush and the Magic Magenta pastelized. Any questions on Mela?
Nope, nothing in the chat.
All right. Okay, so here is Nora's bleach application. This is not a current example. We did her root touch-up right at the root, and we did her color that she normally used to get, which is a Gothic mix here. But for the sides, we did a Moody Blue straight. And of course, I added protein additive. In her lightener, I used Vitaplex part 1. So we definitely got some treatment benefits out of it. And then for this part right here in the back, I used Green Envy with Azure Blue with protein additive. Development time, 25 minutes. She was also covered just with a slight cellophane wrap over it. Here I want to show you where I did just the Moody Blue. And I actually used a little bit of what she had and the roots. I'm sorry. So I mixed her color for her roots, and I brought it down just to create a little bit of a different line. So this is when you don't use your color your way, you can actually use your color to be able to get a little bit, not a line, but you can now get more of a blend. So right here, you can see the blue how it gave it more of a little bit of a line. And here I can show you, this is what I'm talking about. This right here with without color your way can actually help you get a blend from your different colors. But if you wanted it to just have a complete block of 2 different colors, then you could have blocked it with color your way. Does that make sense? All right.
I think so.
Very cool. All right, and this is Nora's color. Oop. All right. On this one, we did Moody Blue with blue violet, and then on the other one was pure purple, just in ribbons. And she was also pre-lightened, also with protein additive. Here are some more colors that I did. This is the straight hot pink pastelized right here. This is Mela a long time ago with some of the orange crush and magenta that you can't really see underneath there. And these were colors pastelized with the dark gray on the ends.
Yep. So we got a question about how these fade out of the hair. Did you want to talk about that, or do I want to grab it?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, we can talk about it. So these fade out of the hair more of an eventual, so they don't completely just wash out of the hair. So you won't get, after 10 shampoos, it's not like she's going to be back to blonde. She will have, they will have, because it's for men too, a very slight fadage, so they can actually eventually end up with some pastelized colors. I will show you a picture of Nora coming up, how her color has just faded and it become more of a pastel from that picture that we saw before. Yep. So you'll see these tones right here, how they faded. So I have a good picture of that. Awesome. And again, yep, if you have a recommendation, Kristen, or how you,
yeah,
I'm sorry, your experience.
No, it's okay. So they fade on tone. So they're not going to turn into like some weird random color that you're like, how did I get that? Like the pinks are just going to fade into a softer pink. They're not going to get salmony or anything like that. They're just going to gradually, like Nancy said, kind of pastelize out of the hair, but they're still going to stay like a true pretty tone as they're on their way out.
Mm-hmm. If the colors have been applied to other colors, and this is just being used on top of that as a refresher, then it's going to fade to what they had before. So if she was a natural copper and we did a burnt copper or true copper from Hot Shots, then she eventually will turn back to what she had underneath the hair. So more of a natural. Mm-hmm.
Yep. And then we do have another question. When heat styling the hair, they've noticed that the heat can alter the color. What do you do to not lose color using curling irons?
I have noticed that too, and I use the Heat Defy, making sure that I'm protecting the hair from the heat. That's very, very important. I also like to use polisher, and I can't say that I have really noticed that happening anymore. Probably noticed it more towards the root area, and that would be probably caused because it's super fresh color. So I would say that just make sure that you use Heat Defy spray. Do you have any other ways, Kristen?
I would also maybe turn the heat on your iron down a little bit.
Yeah, and with the blow dryer, it shouldn't really do much, but right. Yeah, especially on the very, very fresh color on top of super fresh pre-lightened hair. Yes, it's really important to do that to make sure that you protect the hair.
I think I would add, for someone that does do a lot of heat styling too, I think I would add pastelizer on as a great way to kind of give a little barrier too. That might be a good option for someone that does a lot of heat styling.
So
like as a shine treatment?
Yeah.
Or like a concealer at the end? Yeah. That's perfect.
Just to lock it in a little bit more.
Yep, lock it in. Great. Thank you so much, ladies. And if we have more responses from our educators, we will welcome them, and you can write them in the chat too, or just unmute yourself, and that'll be awesome. Okay. And Kristen Burley's colors here. I don't know if you want to talk about them, Kristen, but I know that you have consistent clients too, right? That most of these are your continuing clients that come in for color dynamics.
Yep. So the on the screen now, the girl with the blue hair, the light pink, and the yellow is actually all of the same girl. We change her color almost every appointment. Just depends on how she's feeling. I don't recall my formulas off the top of my head, but the yellow one, I believe, is mango smoothie and orange crush just highlighted in together. This little pinky blush one is actually hot pink on her roots, and then I melted it into a severely pastelized hot pink just to give her a little bit of like a, we're kind of going for like a champagne type color. The girl on the top left, her roots are actually her natural dark color, and then I applied pure purple and then melted it into magic magenta. So that dark stuff that you see at her roots is her natural color, and it just kind of gives it, like putting the pure purple over it just gave it the slightest bit of a purple sheen, but it really wasn't, you couldn't really see it that much. And then my little oil girl down here, that was a huge combination of a bunch of different colors. Like literally, I feel like I put every color we have in there. But she was just highlighted through on pre-light and tear. But
Awesome. Thank you, Kristen. They're
Yeah, for
awesome
sure.
colors.
thanks.
All right, now we're going to get into our Be Red refreshers. They come in 5 different shades: red, red violet, red copper, copper, and magenta. These were designed just to go over the highlighted Be Red's original formulas for deposit only, because we knew that we didn't have to use a highlight, a lift and deposit every single time if we want to refresh it, especially for a person like me, that it's only refreshing my ends every once in a while. They can also be mixed with each other. You can also pastelize any of these tones. The magenta pastelize is an amazing color because it's not pink, it's just like a beautiful shade of like a muted pink, I have to say. These are applied on pre-shampooed hair. You can use it again on your Be Reds to refresh, or just use them on anybody that you want to change their color. You can use it straight from the tube or in a bowl and a brush. Allow it to process 5 to 15 minutes. The longer time you process, the darker the results will get. You rinse it. Here it says shampoo, but I don't shampoo. These were just the directions from the tech manual, but I don't shampoo it out. I just use color care conditioner or color care mask if you need it. And here are some of Kristen's models that she's used it on. You can see the red, violet, and the red on this one. And here is the red, violet. Oh my God, my thing is covering. Oh, it's red. Sorry.
She's red.
She's just red. Okay. And were these normally a Be Red, Kristen?
So the girl on the left with the red, violet, and red mixture is a true Be Red client. The girl on the right is not. So she had previously had just lightened ends, and we chose the Be Red Refresher red because that's the color that we liked. And she was already pre-lightened, which is why I could use the refresher instead of using the regular Be Reds.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. All right, and this was one of my clients. She had an older balayage and she wanted to try something new. So we did the red, violet, and the magenta together on her pre-lightened hair. I think that the red, violet definitely took over a little bit more than the magenta, and the magenta, you can see it more towards the ends. This client is a Be Red copper always, and to refresh at the bowl, we did Be Red copper with Vitaplex part 1 mixed together. So I am not kidding that these just 10 minutes at the shampoo bowl gave her this much intensity. In her hair at the same time, you can see how much I repaired right through this area here. And, you know, just from the diffuser, we got a little bit of that erratic hair, but this is how much we can get the intensity. And of course, it repaired her hair. All right, now we're getting into everything is intermixable. So Kristen mentioned that we can mix hot shots with color dynamics. You can mix it with everything. And these are Kristen's swatches. Do you want to talk about these, Kristen?
Sure. So sometimes when I'm bored in the salon, I will just pull out some hair swatches and mix things together to see what happens. So I actually just got a question in the chat box kind of related to this. She was asking about if you could mix platinum mist with pastelizer. So it's not that you can't, but platinum mist is already so light that adding pastelizer to it is almost going to make it more of a clear. So just not necessary, but it's not that you can't do it. But then with these swatches here, you know, we give you, like, Color Dynamics has a bunch of different colors for you to choose from, but sometimes it's just not the exact shade you're looking for. So these are totally intermixable, and you can intermix them with Hot Shots too. So here I kind of created like a snow cone blue. And for that one, I used the Quicksilver Hot Shots, Azure Blue, and Moody Blue. And I just mixed that in my bowl until I got the color that I wanted, and then applied it to a level 9 swatch. So all of these swatches are level 9. There was no pre-toning of them, nothing like that, just mixed up and put onto the swatch. Then I have a Grinch Green. So apparently I was making these last winter. So that one is the Quicksilver Hot Shots, a little bit of Green Envy, and a little bit of the Mango Smoothie. And it just kind of gave us more of like this limey kind of green. And I like to try to mix stuff that I wouldn't normally think to mix, just to kind of see what happens. So then we have an Electric Coral, which is, so I used the Sand Blonde Hot Shots, a little bit of Hot Pink, and the Mango Smoothie, and just got this really cute, like, orangey kind of coral color. So,
And this one was probably before we had the coral.
it was, yes.
Yeah, trying to make it. Yeah, we still can probably make all these colors, right? Like, just in any way, whatever colors we want.
Yep, and I'm sure that you could probably create, you know, a blue like this using other things to add to it as well. You know, but if you're trying to get something, one of these colors, I would definitely recommend taking into consideration what you're applying it to. I think we kind of touched on that before, but obviously if I'm going for this Grinch Green, I can't apply that to somebody who has a red base because it's not going to do anything.
Right. Yeah.
So.
Thanks, Kristen.
Yep.
All right. And for the person looking for that color we were talking about, kind of violet. So this client she made a big oopsie. She had box color dye. So I balayaged her. So I didn't get to a very, very high level. I had probably maybe a warm 7. So I know that your client, and I'm speaking to the person that was looking for a pure purple and magenta. If it's slightly pre-lightened, then you can get a tone like this. So you might be able to convince her, and then she can get something a little bit more natural. So for this client, I mixed Hot Shots Aubergine with pure purple on a level 7, and these are the colors that I got. So it's still pretty, it's still visible, it's still super shiny, and we didn't have to go to extreme measures after correcting it from a box. Which was actually really, really, really terrible on the hair in the front, because of course, when we do things at home, the first thing we do is plait. We put everything right in the front, and her hair was super gummy. It was super fragile. And we did all of this with Vitaplex. All right, here are some more of the swatches that Kristen worked on.
Yep, so here we have a Neon Eggplant, which is the aubergine in Hot Shots, and then just a little bit of the pure purple. So the aubergine in Hot Shots is actually recommended for bases 5, 4, and 3. But this again is a blonde swatch, so you can see how much of that intensity kind of came through when putting it on like a pre-lightened one. So then we have Rust, which is, I did the Copper Bee Red Refresher with just a dot of the hot chocolate just to kind of brown it out a little bit. And it just gave us this really nice, deep, rusty orange color. And then probably my favorite creation of all time is this Forest Green. So this one is equal parts of hot chocolate and Moody Blue. And I like this one because if you ever have a color that you want to make darker, I actually have this Forest Green pre-mixed in a little jar for myself so that I can add this in to make darker shades. So like if you want to try to create like a navy blue, this is actually really awesome mixed with like the blue violet or the Moody Blue, just to kind of deepen and darken it a little bit and give you a whole nother area of shades that you can create.
Awesome. Yeah, I tried it too. I think I told you that. But and it really actually is a really beautiful shade, right? Like when you look at it underneath the sun, it's beautiful.
Yeah, it's hard to see on the computer screen, but it's really super dark with just a teeny tiny tint of green.
Yes, beautiful. All right. Here we have another refresh, and here is where I used the Kitoko Botanical Primer Shampoo before. The reason why I did that on this particular client was because I wanted to remove some of her old color. This client here is a botanical client. She was the cranberry color all over, and slowly she was fading. But because we are intensifying her color, why not give it a really good wash and remove some of the natural oils, some of the debris, and just to make sure that we have a super clean canvas to work on, I used the Kitoko Primer Shampoo, and after that, I did a Kitoko Purified Cleanser, just to make sure that we added a little bit more of that pH back to the hair. And I towel dried her hair, and I applied her color as if I was doing a more of a color mount, but also in different panels. And I used 2 parts of hot chocolate with 1 part of Crimson Kiss, and her more of a roots in the low light. So I smudged it down a little bit lower. And some of the panels were 2 parts of Iced Chestnut, half of a part of the Be Red Refresher, and half of the Be Red Copper. So this is what gave me some of these tones that you see on the ends. We still like her color to be a little bit on the reddish. So we tried this, and she's always open to trying something new. So these were her results. And when we're talking about everything being intermixable, they really are. It's just depending on what colors you really are looking for. So here are some more of her results and what it looks like, but the incredible shine that it gets. I mean, a hair like this that just looks not like it's not unhealthy, but it really isn't shiny. It's just dull. This just gives it super much illumination and vibrancy. Okay, here's another intermixable client. For her appointment, we brought up her balayage because we always know that we go a little bit shorter on her layers for her A-line bob. And we did, so here I do, I think I'm covered with the first one, but it's, I added some dark, so Color Dynamics, Pure Purple, and Aubergine, and blush on the ends. Why can't I see what's over here? Can you read that for me, Kristen, on the very top? Oh, you're muted.
Sorry. It says Be Red Magenta Refresher with Color Dynamics Dark Gray. And then it says Color Dynamics Pure Purple, Dark Gray, and Aubergine.
Yes.
And
Thank
then
you very much.
Color Dynamics Blush on her
On the
ends.
ends. Yes, thank you so much. So here I wanted to mention like how the dark gray, it's not just always going to be a smoky color. It's just more of a muted, which is what we're looking at right now for spring, is that they're not going to be not just pastel, but they're going to be more muted. So you have the tones, but you have them in this little hazy type of tone that you'll be seeing more of. All right, now we are just going to get to talk about a little bit more of what is happening in color trends. So we did talk about the gray and the yellow being Pantone colors of the year, and we saw them on Instagram being super literal with half of gray and half of yellow. But what I wanted to talk about is using the colors that we see, not always wanting to maybe achieve colors that are like, my client will never use that. I don't have a person to do that. How can these be the colors of the year, right? But when we look at yellow, we can look at all the shades of yellow, and we can think of our clients in the blonde area. So how we can use sand blonde, how we can use different blondes, mango smoothie in some of our clients and mix them into our colors. Same thing for the grays. The grays, if they're kind of they're going away a little bit, and our blondes are no longer gray, how we can mix some of the grays, not just in permanent color, but how can we use some of the grays into our semi-permanent colors? Again, to give it that haze look. So I encourage that you experiment with these, with Color Dynamics and with the dark gray or any of your grays, to be able to mute those colors. And you don't always have to have that shine, that crazy vibrant effect on every client. So these colors can actually be used on anyone if you start to experiment with them.
Yep. We did have a question on how long do the refreshers last?
Same thing, 6 to 10 washes. Yep. Yeah, I think most of our semi-permanents have the same longevity. If you give it a little bit more of the recommendation from any of the toolbox products, then you can get more longevity out of them.
Yep.
Remember also, a healthier hair will give you long lasting results too, because it's not porous and it's just not washing out of the hair. That's really important.
Yep, and especially too if you're using the proper aftercare and the recommended shampoo and conditioner.
Absolutely. Which we'll get into in such a second.
Yeah, perfect.
Yes. And again, some more of the 2021 colors that we saw in the runway. And we have them available in our semi-permanent colors. Here is another recommendation on how to use color dynamics or any of our semi-permanents. We talked about being able to mix them with mode color care. So I know that Heather mixed 2 grams of the purple to 30 grams of the mask over a lilac color. So she did have a toner underneath there, but she gave it a treatment for longevity and care with the mask and the pure purple. So you can use some of the color dynamics or hot shots on top of any of your regular shades with mode color care mask to give it more longevity and more care. So anytime you want to just give it more of a protection, lock it in, as Amanda was talking about too, with the pastelizer, you can always use and create an overlay of longevity and care for your clients.
Yep.
And I put it here in the shades because this color was perfect for one of the 2021 colors as well. Here's an example of the colors that are 2021 shades that Amanda actually used on dark hair. So these colors can also be used on dark hair, and they will give it an illumination and shine of whatever color you're applying on. I know she did. I know, Amanda, you were there. If you're available to tell us what you did here with Mango Smoothie and Blush.
Yeah, so she really just wanted to freshen everything up and brighten everything up, but didn't really want a full color change. So I mixed Mango Smoothie and Blush up in a bowl and just applied it globally. And it really just kind of warmed everything up and just gave a really nice shine and condition. And it's, I don't know, it was kind of perfect for that in-between service in between her full colors. So
her shine is incredible.
Yeah, yeah, it was so awesome. Just a nice little pick me up.
Yes, beautiful, beautiful. I know I've done some dark, I've done some moody blue on top of dark brown, and it makes it look just slightly blue. So we can always use it on darker tones. Yes, thanks, Amanda. Here's some more inspirations from 2021 on the runway. They were pairing some of the brights with some of the naturals. So here's just a combination of naturals and brights. And these were just inspirations to me that I always like to talk about, that we can always create. So because the brights are in for this year, we can use our color dynamics, color shots, or any of our semi-permanent colors. Some other colors that are going to be 2021 popular, and you'll see these in the blondes, are the yellows, right? Some of the butter blondes, some of the camel brown tones. And for this mannequin here, I did a combination of color care mask with Mango Smoothie on her highlights. And then I did some of the coffee shop brown tones in between. So just to start playing around and see how we're going to be able to mix these colors and provide them for our clients.
Yeah, that's a great way to just show kind of how you can use those color inspirations a little more conservatively. Like it doesn't necessarily mean that you have to have an entire head of gray and yellow.
Right, exactly, exactly. All right, and then we see some color pops from the fashion world and how they're just going to be used in statements, one of each one, and also in combinations. Here we have this magazine. I know that she did this color. What's her name? Billie Eilish. That's her name. She had her roots colored, and she just continued to do this color here at the root, and it was just such a statement because now these 90 looks of color blocks, one way or slanted way, it's just going to be something that we're going to start to see. So this is definitely going to be a color pop for this year. Here's what I was talking about, the faded. This is the moody blue faded on Nora on the ends. So you can see how they fade. They don't fade back to like a natural blonde. And I'm talking about, this is a fadage of about 3 months. 3 months. And then we have other colors. We have metallics on her roots, but definitely the color pops are being mixed in her colors. And we also see it here in her bun. And these were some of our professional shots that we did in December, I believe. Yeah. All right. So now for the aftercare products. So it's really important not just to use the appropriate tools to get longevity in the hair, but also how to care for the hair after. Now, these are going to be more of a recommendation for at-home use, because we really don't shampoo the hair out after we do semi-permanent colors. These are just going to be more of a recommendation for you to recommend to your clients as a take-home. Mode Color Care shampoo and conditioner, they hydrate and protect the hair. They boost the strength. So if they're just shampooing or conditioning their hair, depending on how they care for their hair, I know some people just use conditioner once in a while, then they shampoo once in a while. You'll benefit from both by getting protection and strength, and to reinforce the elasticity. So color care really has the possibilities to giving you more strength, more longevity, and it's against color fadage. So you get your color lock technology in there that will help get longevity and more intensity. It leaves the hair replenished, silky, smooth, and manageable. So any of our shampoos do not contain any mineral oils or waxes. We get the 90% naturally derived products in there that will give you a lot of conditioning and shine. For the mask, we talked about it as being recommended with a color as a color conditioner for home. And this is the size that we would recommend it. This is also something that is available, or either one of these are for care at home. So you can definitely have your clients come back with this little mask jar, and then you can apply their color in there and mix it so they can use it more appropriately at home as well. All right. This video here is by Kristen, and this was to show how our color care, Mode Color Care, really protects the color from the hair, in the hair.
Yep.
You want to talk about this one as it goes?
Sure. Yeah. So I just went to Walgreens and grabbed just a couple of the cheap shampoos that some of my clients say that they use, and then I prepared these swatches all with the same color dynamics. So I used, I think it was Crimson Kiss. Prepped all the swatches, and then in the cups I have just a little bit of water and some shampoo. Kind of whisked it together to kind of replicate if I were shampooing it. And then you can see I just dipped the swatches in there so that you can see the color fadage of each of the different brands. But the ASP shampoo is dramatically less fadage. Like, you're still gonna have a little bit, which is normal. Every time you shampoo, you're gonna have a little bit. But Nancy, can you click back to like the beginning of it where the 4 of them are?
Yes.
Like, you can tell how much less color has faded just from this little experiment that I did. So this is why it's super important to recommend this product to your clients. And if you guys want, like, you can screenshot this and totally share it with your clients and show them, like, this is a visual of how it really affects your color. So.
Yep, absolutely. And I love that you said this is what they say they use at home, and they insist that it says, well, it says it's for color. Oh, it says it's paraben free. Yes, a lot of the brands have actually caught on those importances for color, but for shampoos, but they still do not have the right ingredients and the right protection that really we have in our professional line. So Mode Color Care with the color lock technology is actually registered just to us, that it really helps to lock in the color, even just from a shampoo. So you really are not getting all of that color being pulled out of the hair constantly. It really helps to maintain the color fresh.
Yeah. We're getting some questions as if we can share the actual video, and it is on my Instagram page. You guys are more than welcome to share it. So my Instagram is @KristenBurley. I'll put it in the chat so that you guys can grab it from there. And if you can't find it, just send me a DM and we can get it to you, no problem.
Absolutely. Anything you need. If you don't find it on our page or on the Afanash America page, then you can always request anything that you want, if we have it, and if we can send it. Thanks, Kristen.
Yeah.
All right. Another way to protect the color because of the color lock technology is your Vitaplex shampoo and conditioner. These hydrate, strengthen, and protect the hair. So Vitaplex is in a smaller form added into these shampoo and conditioners. So you still get that benefit of the BRAF19 complex. So those 19 amino acids that we lose through color and through lightening our hair, and just to protect the color, we get them replenished in a smaller form with shampoo and conditioner of Vitaplex. Also for a mask, we have the part 3, which is our bond maintainer. They can utilize it once a week, or if they don't shampoo once a week, because I know that semi-permanent color, they probably leave it a little bit longer. They can just use it anytime they do shampoo their hair, every other time, and they can leave it in for about 5 minutes and rinse it very well. This is actually what I have in my shower, just to show you that it really does protect my color. Okay, one of the things I really wanted to mention is that my cleansers are all from the Kitoko Advanced Hair Therapy. A lot of the times our clients want to see the hair really sudsing in the hair. I use the Kitoko Hydro Revive Cleanser, this one here, and I want to say that even if I don't feel a lot of the emulsification being super sudsy and looking at that foam in my hair, I know that it's cleaning my hair. I know that it's washing my scalp. And therefore, when I rinse my hair, I don't see any color in my shampoo. If you're seeing a lot of color in your shampoo, then you might want to tell your clients to switch it. So for me, I have to say and give it hands down to all of the Kitoko cleansers, because even when I use like my dandruff, or my H Prevent, or any cleanser from Kitoko, depending on the one I'm using, I always notice that my color lasts a lot longer, and so I'm sticking to these for me. So my recommendation for you to transfer that to your clients is that the Kitoko line for cleansers, it really, really gives you more color protection. For me, even more than the color care protection. And I don't want to say that because I know, Kristen Birdie, you're a fan. But for me,
preferences.
Yeah, it's preferences. And I think that because I am a user and it's in my head, then I can see the difference. So I just wanted to mention that. All righty. And we have the color wipes, which come in a new packaging. Some of these colors might stain your clients, so just make sure that you have them handy to be able to remove these colors from anywhere in the skin. All right, and we want to talk about some of the challenges that you might encounter if you are not, just the challenges of semi-permanent color. We'll get challenges if we're not lifting the hair light enough to get the wanted results. If we're not utilizing products from the toolbox, if we're not using enough pastelizer on a very light canvas, it can result in very deep results. If you're not using enough color, can result in uneven results. So if we're just like very lightly applying some and we mix very little, we need to make sure that we drench that hair with color. If you're not using, if you're not massaging it into the hair. So we talk about emulsifying that color from root to ends when you're applying it, just to make sure that you're getting the color into the hair. And if you're not using if your clients are not using the appropriate home care. So a lot of the times we know that our clients lie, don't feel that it's your fault. Really, we can't do anything after your clients go home. So we can the only thing that we can do is recommend it. Do you have any other ones, Kristen, that you can think of?
No, not off the top of my head.
Yeah. So really, there's not a lot of challenges unless we're not using the right tools. It's just basic. All right, so we, at the end of our classes, we give some shout outs to our users, ASP users. And today we have Brittany Winkler from Vegas. She provided these images for us, and she used Color Dynamics. She used Pure Purple and the Lavender together. And underneath the canvas that she had, she said she had a highlighted client, which you would know with highlight clients, we have highs and lows. So this is a beautiful results that she got.
Gorgeous.
Gorgeous. And from Texas, we have Oscar Garcia. So I don't know if they were able to make it to the class. I can't see everyone's on the screen, but they knew that I was going to be sharing these, so they provided the information. So definitely, if you need to follow them to see more of their colors, you can ask me to go back and you can get their Instagram names. So Oscar used on the root area here, magenta and crimson kiss, faded it into the orange crush, and then to mango smoothie on the ends. And he has a YouTube channel, and it's OG Colorworks, and everything he uses, I think now is ASP. So we're really excited. All right, if you want to be in any of your user spotlights and any of our upcoming classes, if you see that we're having maybe a blonding class, you can send us your favorite blondes, your formulas, and your Instagram name, and we can add it to our next classes. Any classes that you see coming up, just send us your information.
We did have a comment about some of the challenges,
Yes.
and they said, I find people put too many oil and silicone-based products in their hair, and in their opinion, it's extremely important to clarify the hair to get great color and results. And that's a fantastic point, especially because our semi-permanents are meant to go on towel-dried hair. We definitely recommend clarifying first, especially to get that buildup off. That's a great point.
Absolutely, will be added in. Thank you so much for that comment. Absolutely important. I also want to say, depending on which clarifying shampoos you are using, I want to mention that our Purify from Kitoko and our primer shampoo from Kitoko do not contain waxes or mineral oils, so they do not coat the hair. A lot of the clarifying shampoos, to make it feel like that squeaky clean, they add those waxes in there so the hair can feel clean, but we don't have them in there, so we recommend ours always. So thanks so much for that comment, whoever made that comment.
Yep, perfect.
Yep.
And then two real quick, we had a comment about some of the dandruff shampoos.
Yep.
And we just want to explain that our dandruff shampoo has an antifungal in it, but it's not harsh. So,
Right.
Do you have anything to add to that?
No, I wanted to add that I use it during the winter because I have my psoriasis kind of like comes in a little bit more, and it really does help to nourish. So a lot of dandruff shampoos feel like they are not hydrating enough. They actually just make the scalp feel cleaner, but they make the hair feel really harsh. So our shampoo for dandruff actually cleanses with moisture. So you'll still feel a hydration on the scalp as well as in the hair, and they're all color safe.
Yep, perfect.
All right, and just finishing up, we have some of our promotions in boxes that are always available to all distributors. Just contact your distributor. This box here for Hot Shots has the 8 shades, 1 fan of color, 2 tent cards, and 5 brochures. And then we have a color dynamics box, which comes with all the 13 shades, and 1 tub of ice cream ammonia-free lightener, which it's a perfect way to start getting your clients into something that it's a little bit more healthier. So anytime you use any of our ammonia-free lighteners, you can get beautiful light results with super healthy end results. On all of our lighteners are, but especially when you're starting out and you have clients that want to try something new.
Yep.
All righty, and some of our upcoming classes. So we're coming here to a close. So if you have any questions ready, get them ready. And I just want to talk about our coming class for tonight. We have Ask the Educator with Amanda Tano. Amanda, do you want to talk a little bit about what you'll be covering today?
Yeah, so we're going to be touching on a little bit of gray coverage. I know a lot of people are kind of struggling with that lately, and I'm just going to touch on it again. We're going to cover over some B reds, some B browns, and a little bit of men's coloring too. So join us, bring all your questions. If you have any questions from today's class or just anything in general, if you guys have a client you're wondering about, bring your questions to tonight's class and we'll get them covered for you guys. Or a specific product. If there's a product that you're wondering about too, come tonight and then ask that and we'll cover it all.
Okay. Awesome. Thank you, Amanda. Yeah, so definitely if you maybe think about something that you heard about today and you have more questions about it, bring them up to Amanda tonight and she'll be able to answer any of these questions. Amanda's been with the company for years. She knows the insides and outs of everything ASP. So definitely don't miss that chance. I don't know if Heather is in here, but maybe Kristen.
I am.
Oh my God, yay.
Hi, friends.
You can tell us about your upcoming classes.
Yeah, so we have Going Gray on March 15th. That will be 4 Pacific, 7 Eastern. This is really a course that's geared to get your guests behind the chair that want to transition into embracing their gray. This will be some hints and tips on how to be able to do that safely, keep the hair having really good integrity, but more than anything, make sure that we have a real clear understanding of what needs to be expected from yourself as well as the client in terms of going gray successfully. We'll talk about men's coloring then as well as Gothics. And then we also have flash foiling on March 21st. That'll be the same time for Pacific, 7 Eastern. It's really going to be kind of like a speed foiling class, a lot about how less is more. So that's going to be able to save us some time behind the chair. And I'm excited to share that with you guys as well.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Heather.
You're welcome.
I'm sure everyone here has been in one or two of her classes already, and she gives you more information that you even think that existed. So if you are around, take these classes, especially, oh my God, I'm so excited for Going Gray.
Yeah, I am too.
Yay. Awesome. Thank you so much, Heather. And
thanks, guys.
Thank you. Kristen, do you want to tell us about your class?
Yes, so I'm going to be doing the style segment on March 22nd at 11 a.m. Central. In this class, we're just going to be talking about, it's going to be more product knowledge based, but I will have tons of tips and tricks on how I like to use the products. So we're going to cover mode as well as Kotoko art styling products.
So exciting.
Yes.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Kristen. And do you see if Monica is in this call?
I don't believe she is.
Okie dokie. Well, then I will talk about her class, her Reds and Coppers class. She has a passion for doing any Reds and Coppers. I know that I've seen her classes in the past, and I'm just really excited to see what she's going to bring us in. So definitely don't miss this class. Monica has been out from her maternity leave. She's kept it on, but she's going to be back. So we can't wait to see her back and educating all of us.
Yep.
All right. So that is all we have for today. You can follow us on Instagram. You can follow us on Facebook. We have a channel on YouTube. We have a channel on YouTube now that you can subscribe to. You can watch some of our classes that are happening, that are currently happening. Some of the ones that are very important and basics of ASP, they will stay there. And the ones that are a little bit more of artistic and creative from some of our educators will probably stay there just for about 2 weeks is what I believe. So just, go on there, follow us, and be able to, just stay in touch with all of our classes.
Yep, and then I would actually just like to ask all of you guys for your feedback on our classes. So I'm going to put Laura's email in the chat box. So anything that you guys would like to say, if you love it, if there's things you don't love, any information, any feedback that you could give us would be amazing. We're here to make these classes for you guys, so we want to make sure that you're getting everything that you need. So if there's anything you'd like to see, any ideas you have, please let us know. And like I said, I'm going to put Laura's email in the chat box, so please email that over to us.
And thank you so much, Kristen, for all of your help.
Yes, of course.
And for all the educators that were on the call, thanks for all of your comments. And this is all we have. So